Good people, your boy Jordan GK back with another video, guys. If you ain't seen the other Jordan Peterson videos, man, go and check him out. He is the debate king in my eyes, man. Like, he's just such an intelligent guy. The way he uses his terminology, dialect, everything about the guy, he's just he's like a super intelligent guy, man. But the reason why I like reacting to these kind of topics is because it's like it's reality. And even though I've done reactions on music and all other kinds of stuff, I really do love doing these, because this is all related to life. Like, this is all related to us human beings. And it's like, yeah, I'm reacting to it, but then it's like, even some of you guys that are watching my videos, man, it's like you got to take a sit back. Even sometimes I take a seat back and I'm like, whoa, like I've just learned something valuable there. So yeah, these videos can be very valuable for you guys, especially, I mean, the original videos, me reacting to it, okay, might not be as valuable to you. I think my opinion, sometimes you can agree or disagree with my opinion, but what Jordan Peterson has to say most of the time is just so important, man. But yeah, we're gonna see the real side to him today, man. Like, listen, for those of you Jordan Peterson haters, or the people that don't really agree with him most of the time, maybe this will change your mind about him. Because people come at him from all angles, man. Especially when that one video that blew up and made him like big, so to speak. You know, there was a lot of haters, man. A lot of haters, people saying that when they went to his lectures that he was discriminating women, he didn't like women, he kind of talked down to women. That's not the case. He's just giving you facts and telling you the truth. And that's, in my personal opinion, I generally believe that modern women in this day and age don't like the truth. They don't like hearing the truth. They don't like hearing the facts. They want to kind of live in like a fairy tale world where everything needs to be good. Everything, okay, yeah, I think I don't need to worry about my future because it's all going to be fine. I'm going to manifest a rich husband. And it's like, bro, that's not how the world works, man. For real. But anyway, guys, before we start, actually, I'm not even going to do that anymore, man. Let's just get straight into this video.
Example, and I thought, why? Yeah, that's a good question. Says, well, I'm actually on their side. I'm really happy that they're not wasting their lives. I'm really sad to see that people are disenchanted and nihilistic and depressed and anxious and aimless and perverse and vengeful and all of those things. It's terrible. And then to see people question whether that's necessary and then to start to rise out of it. It's like, it's so fun. Like last night I was after my talk, it's overwhelming. I don't usually think about these things, but I was after my talk last night, and so all these people line up, and you know, they have their 15 seconds with me, and they're kind of tentative. They're excited and attentive when they come up to talk to me, and then they have, you know, 15 seconds of time to tell me something. I'm really listening to them, and they're hesitant about whether or not to share the good news about their life, you know, and I think it's often because when people share good news about their life, people don't necessarily respond positively. You know, they don't get encouragement. And people need so little encouragement. It's just unbelievable. And so they'll tell me something good, and I think, oh, that's so good. You know, somebody says, oh, I'm getting along way better with my father. I hadn't seen him for 10 years, and now we get along. It's like, God, great. And then the power of that, you can't overstate the power of that for individuals to get their life together. The individual is an unbelievably powerful force, and every single person who gets their act together a little bit has the capacity to spread that around them. It's a chain reaction, and so it's a lovely thing to see. And
that's fantastic.
Our daughter ended her life at 20.
Do you know what's funny, guys? It's so true, man. There is lack of encouragement in this day and age. You do something good, no one gives a shit. Let's be honest. You do something bad, everyone wants to get in your case about it. Everyone wants to know the in-depth moments, why you've gone wrong. Oh yeah, you know, he lost this, he did it. people want to talk about your bad shit, but as soon as you do something good, people don't want to encourage you. People don't want to say, do you know what, man, good for him or good for her. They don't want to do that. It's actually, it's this society, mate. It's twisted.
24 due to depression. If someone is determined to end their life, how can one change their mind? Oh, well, first of all, I'm very sorry about that. That's a terrible thing. Look, I had this friend, sorry. There's been a lot of depression in our family, so it's a question that cuts close to the bone. Anyways, I had this friend, a friend of my parents, and her granddaughter committed suicide, you know. She was just beating herself up about that. What could have I done? What could have I done differently? This is the problem with suicide. It leaves everybody behind thinking, oh my God, what could have I done? I could have treated the person better. I could have listened. I could have been there. It's like, and she was just beating herself up about this, really feeling that she wasn't a useful person, that she'd failed as a grandmother. She's a really good person, you know. And so I went for a walk with her, and I said, and she's married and she likes her husband and he's a really good guy. And I said, look, you're blaming yourself for your granddaughter's suicide. It's like, are you blaming your husband? Are you sitting him down and telling him what a useless bastard he was as a grandfather because his granddaughter committed suicide and how he failed completely? She said, no, I'd never do that. So I said, well, don't do it to yourself.
One of the things that has just blown me away in the last year, because I've talked to lots of people live, you know, but also lots of people online. But it's more obvious live, and it's obvious in this theater as well, is that I've gone around and spoken, and a large proportion of my...
I love the fact that you see this side of Jordan Peterson, because he comes like, listen, every single person on this planet has feelings, has emotions, has a backstory, and I think the kind of side you see to Jordan Peterson is the disagreeable side, the high value side, the debating side of things. Like, that's the only real side you see of him. These things that happen on occasions, all the good things that he does. That's why this society is so twisted. It's like all the good and meaningful things that you don't see. I mean, I'm glad that this video was created. But all the good things that he does, you don't see. It's always the bad shit, and it's the same throughout everyone. When there's bad gossip, everyone wants to talk about it. When there's good gossip, no one gives a shit. And that's how twisted this day and age is. It's actually crazy, man. Like, as human beings, we can't do enough to help people. It's like even homeless people. Like, there shouldn't be homeless people. Like, even in the UK, the US, like, listen, there shouldn't be people starving. There shouldn't be people in poverty. You know, if we can put money towards different charities, trying to cure kind of incurable diseases, put our money into science, put our money in, like, the amount of money that we spend on taxes, but it's like, why can't that money go to homelessness? Why can't that money help the real people that are in need of help? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. The wealth that we generate on this planet is ridiculous. Money's printed every day, but then there's homeless people living on the street. It doesn't make sense. But that's the kind of stuff that doesn't, you know, it's like we avoid it. It's like us as human beings, we're just robots. We just fucking walk through life without, well, I mean, not all of us, but most of us just walk through as robots and just don't come to terms with the real shit that's happening on this planet, and trying to help, or trying to put something towards that to help people, the less fortunate. It just doesn't make any sense, man. It's actually crazy.
Audience has been young men, you know, under 30, something like that. And I've spoken...
just quickly as well, depression, suicide, like, I think in this generation, the percentage of suicides has increased. It's not like in the 70s and 80s. going back 30, 40 years ago, it's increased since then. So it's like, what are we doing as people to fix that? We're not doing shit. It's as simple as that, man. We're just making more and more people depressed.
Spoken to them a lot about responsibility. And what's so odd about this is that of all the things that I've spoken about, because I can see the audience and I can feel how the audience is reacting, because I'm always paying attention to all of you insofar as I can manage that. So
Well, yeah.
I get some sense of how what I'm saying is landing, which you have to do if you're going to speak effectively to people. And what happens is if I talk about responsibilities, everyone is silent, just like they are now. Silent and not moving, right? Focusing, attentive. Say, pick up your responsibility. Pick up the heaviest thing you can and carry it. And the room goes quiet and everybody's eyes open. And I think, that always makes me break up. I don't know why. I was speaking to an English journalist today who was going to write an article in Spectator magazine, and I was talking about this, and at the same point in the discussion, I had the same emotional reaction. I don't really understand it. I think there's something about it that's so crucial, because we've been fed this unending diet of rights and freedoms, and there's something about that, there's something about that that's so pathologically wrong, and people are starving for the antidote, and the antidote is truth and responsibility, right? And it isn't because that's what you should do in some I know better or someone knows better for you what you should do sense. It's that that's the secret to a meaningful life, and without a meaningful life, then all you have is suffering and nihilism and despair and all of that, and self-contempt, and that's not good. And so it's necessary for men to stand up and take responsibility, and they all know that and are starving for that message, and the message is more that that's also a good thing, to stand up and take responsibility, because you're cursed so much now from when you're young with this notion that your active engagement with the world is part of what is destroying and undermining the planet and adding to the tyranny of the social systems. It's like, how about not so much of that, hey? Because it's too soul deadening. It's anti-human right to the core. And my sense instead is that, if you were able to reveal the best of yourself to you in the world, that you would be an overwhelming force for good.
Bro, I need this guy to come to the UK and do a speech or a cinema or something, man, honestly.
My primary motive as a clinical psychologist and educator is to help individuals live more meaningful and productive lives in harmony with their families and their community. That's my motive. And the evidence for that, I think, is, well, if people go online, and first of all, you can watch the lectures and decide for yourself, but you can also go, I suspect probably maybe 250,000 people have commented on the lectures and their effects on them. And so that's what people say. I'm watching the lectures. Yeah. I'm trying to develop a vision for my life. I'm trying to become more responsible, and it's really helping. And that's what I hear all the time when I do these public lectures, which aren't political.
But when we gain success, we raise the bar. We set our ambitions higher. I mean, what is your end game? What do you want?
That's all. That's what I want. I want to help as many individuals as possible become more courageous, more truthful, and more engaged in the pursuit of individual, familial, and social harmony. That's what I want.
You're pursuing what is meaningful.
I'm pursuing, I believe that to be the case. It's certainly meaningful to me. I mean, there isn't, everywhere I go now, it doesn't matter where I land, in what airport, or if I walk down the street, 3 or 4 people will come up to me and they'll tell me, I was in a dark place, I was anxious, depressed, nihilistic, drug addicted, alcoholic, homeless, in jail, you name it. Bad relationship with my girlfriend, bad relationship with my parents. I've been watching your lectures or reading your book. I've been trying to tell the truth and get my life together, and everything is way better. And so then you think, well, if you could have what you wanted and what would be meaningful,
You imagine you could go anywhere in the world and people would come up to you that were strangers and tell you that. That's as good as it gets.
Wow.
I read
There you go.
the story.
It's that is the end goal, really, isn't it? I mean, if you want to become a person of change, a person that helps people, how good must it feel that 3 and 4 people come up to me every single day saying, I've changed, I've come from this? Because what he's saying, that inside, it's like, okay, I must be saying something right. Like, what my message is finally coming across, you know? Unbelievable.
It's an autobiography, if I remember correctly, of the captain. I might be wrong about that, but I've got the basic story right. Well, they had a shipwreck in the Antarctica. And then they were there for a whole year in the Antarctica, you know? And none of them died, not one. He didn't lose a single man, not one. He kept their morale high. And then they took this boat that was on the ship, and they crossed like 400 miles of the roughest ocean, the roughest frigid ocean in the world, right? You don't go in that ocean. And then they went to an island, and they walked across the island, across these mountains that no one else has ever climbed since. And they went to the city on the other side of the island, and they got a boat, and they went and rescued their compatriots,
Wow.
and everyone survived. It's like, Endurance is the name of the book. You read that book, man, you think, wow, people are really tough, you know, and it's ridiculous. So who knows how tough you are? And maybe you find out by going out to find out how tough you are, right? So you take on a challenge, one that you think you can master, that's just a bit beyond your grasp, and you master it, and then you're a little tougher, and you think, hey, that worked out pretty well. And so then you're more of a monster. And then you go out and you find another challenge that's even bigger, and you think, well, maybe I can do that too. And then all of a sudden you can, and you get a little bit bigger, and God only knows what the limit is of you.
Shit!
And you find out by pushing yourself against the world, and of course that's what Abraham is doing.
Get out of here, man. That's crazy, bro.
See, we're very pessimistic, us modern people, you know. We're pessimistic about humanity, that's for sure. Dismal, wretched, planet-destroying, cancer on the planet, right? As the Club of Rome described us so pleasantly back in the 1960s, you know? And I don't know, maybe we're ashamed of the Cold War. Maybe we're ashamed of all the destruction in the 20th century and the hydrogen bomb and the, you know, the continuing catastrophes of our societies. And we're deeply ashamed of that and ashamed of ourselves personally. But it's a hell of a thing to, you know, call us a cancer on the planet. There's just no excuse for that, because what you do with cancer is eradicate it. And I don't think that that's a very noble motive, personally. And I think it says a lot about the people who would use such phraseology, that they would dare to conceptualize humanity in that manner. But you know, it would be nice if we could be optimistic. And I think, again, the problem with being optimistic is that it's naive. So then the question is there an optimism that's not naive? And I think there is. And the optimism that's not naive is in just a visualization of how strong people can be. So one of the things that I tell people, I've told my students in my class, in Maps of Meaning, here's a goal. You want to be the person at the funeral of your father that everyone can rely on. How would that be? You want to be the person who's broken and useless and adding to the misery in the corner. And look, I'm not making light of people's grief. You know, I understand grief. But who do you want to be when there's a crisis?
Shit.
Right? Do you want to be the person that everyone can turn to for strength? It's like, why the hell not? Why not that as a goal? That'd be a good goal, because then if there's a crisis, and there will be, it won't be such a bloody crisis, because there'll be someone there that can deal with it.
Wow.
You know, so when I went and talked to these people at the funeral home, I envisioned that. I thought, okay, well, this is something you have to contend with if you're going to be alive and adult. You
Calm that person.
have to contend with
We'll talk after the video.
death and suffering, and you have to be ready for it, and you have to be there for the person, because that's all they're going to have. And so there's a goal, man. And in this time of nihilism, you know, it's what's the point of life? People ask, and they're taught that at universities. What's the point of life? Everything's interpretation. Humanity's a cancer on the planet. You know? Well, how about no? How about not that? How about that there's something to us?
Bro, this guy's insane, incredible, man. Listen, if you have a problem with this guy, and you're not nice, man. You're really not a nice person. You're probably a person that just goes out for everyone and anyone anyway. But listen, the saying that he said at the end there, man, like, become the person that people turn to for strength. Become that, man. For real, like, if you become a person like that, you can defeat anything, man. And it's like challenging yourself to almost, you saying, take a risk, like make a challenge, challenge yourself. You become a little bit bigger because you've actually you're an adept of it now. Like, now you've taken that challenge on, you've completed it. Now you can move on to the bigger challenge, complete that. It's true, you do become a monster, you become a beast. You, like, if you're able to, you know, challenge yourself all the time, put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you become stronger for it. It's so true. So true. It's like, if you're in a relationship and you've been cheated on multiple times, or you've been person's been disloyal to you this way, like, over time you become stronger for it, and you won't settle for that again. It's like, sometimes you have to put yourself in these shit moments and shit situations to come out stronger on the other side. And it's just some of the things he's saying are so overwhelming and so almost heart consuming. Like, it's just crazy, like, how anyone could not like this guy is it's, for me, like I said, you must be a horrible person, because you may not listen. As human beings, we're not all going to agree with one another. If we did, I'm pretty sure society and the world would be perfect. I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have people who are depressed. We wouldn't have people that you know, there would be war for example, right? But so, you know, humans are never, I mean, we might be close, near enough the same as humans, but psychologically we're different. So it's a hard one, man. It's a hard one. I'm one of those people that, you know, want to, if not want, I think about homeless people. I always think about the less fortunate people and how maybe I could help, because I just think there shouldn't be people that are depressed. There shouldn't be people with anxiety and all these problems. Like, it's like, you go back 30-40 years ago, you might hear, oh, what are you talking about, anxiety? Like, people didn't even know what anxiety was. You know, going back 50-60 years ago, people were like, what's anxiety? What are you talking about? But today, you can get diagnosed with depression, anxiety, all this stuff, and then you put on medication. Medication doesn't help. But it's just an ongoing spiral of people committing suicide, depression. Now, like, even in this country, the UK, you know, petrol money, things are going up now. Tax, petrol, not petrol, but fuel, everything, house prices, like, the inflation is crazy. So what's that going to do? That's going to make more people stressed. It's going to make more people depressed because they can't afford it. And it's like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, I feel like, as human beings, man, like I said, like, some of us just strive through life like robots, man, and just strive through with this mechanical brain, and you just, like, walk past, like, even homeless people on the street, you just walk past them. You look at them, you don't even acknowledge them. You just walk past people, like, and it's like, until we can start accepting the way we are and the way the world is and start making a change, only then will we see a difference. And listen, it's all been done before. It's all been, you know, we try to do it, you know, there's ongoing charities, but why isn't it, I don't see any improvements here. I really don't. Like, why is it the fact that the suicide rate is just always increasing? It just doesn't make any sense, you know? Don't get me wrong, clinically you can be diagnosed with psychological problems, I understand that, but more than often, you know, younger kids are committing suicide now because of school and pressure and all these things, man. Like, I don't know whether it's because we're in a snowflake society, or is it the fact that people just don't encourage people anymore. We just don't acknowledge each other anymore. I don't know what it is. Is it social media? I have no idea. I think social media can be used for good and bad things, but you know, that's my opinion on it, guys. I don't know what your opinion is. You know, reply, you know, comment something, write something in the comment section. I will respond to you, and we can get, you know, a little chat going about this, man, because it is like, that's why I react to these things. I don't come on this platform just to gain clout and all this. Like, I like reacting to these kind of things because I like speaking to my subscribers. I like speaking to the people that do end up commenting and watching this video, because it's a really, really important subject, man. Like mindset, it really is. And I feel like the more people, you know, do listen to Jordan Peterson, do listen to the right people, you will come out that right. But if you're listening to the wrong people and you're looking up to the wrong people, then you know, you're never ever gonna break out of that. It's as simple as that. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. You here with your boy Jordan, and I'll see you in the next video.